Hey, Yeji, you gotta come make a video. What are you doing? Come on.
Okay, coming.
That's Yeji. Hi friends, this is Chris.
And Yeji.
Welcome back to the channel. So guys, we gotta talk about the Elon Musk situation. He is just like
Okay.
too crazy all the time. Well, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this because there's so many people that treat this guy like he's a superhuman, superhero, you know, idol, but he's not. You know? I'll give you guys an example. So one thing you don't want to do ever is like impulse buy stuff. So for us, you know, theoretically you can impulse buy a car. We totally could. We could go to the car dealership.
And for me, stop.
Yeah. She does that all the time actually. So you read something in the news like I don't want to know actually. But like you'll read an article in the news or you'll see like something on, you know, social media, like, oh, you got to buy this stock that they're going to get a new CEO. Oh my God, they're getting a new CEO, right? But then sometimes it's like fake news, which is like a horrible thing. But like, you know, for us, okay, let's say it's stock, let's say theoretically a car or, you know, maybe clothes you could buy, right?
Or vacation.
Yeah, no one really, well, I won't say no one. Do people impulse buy a house? I mean, you could.
It's too much of money.
I see it good.
If you're rich.
I mean, a house?
Yeah.
Well, okay, the reason why I bring this up is that for someone like Elon Musk, he impulse buys a company. Twitter.
He didn't want to, but he had to, right?
Yeah. So basically, and this is why we got to talk about it, is like, you know, he's done a lot of weird things in the past, and the people who idealize him act like he can make no mistakes. And so kind of what makes this whole thing laughable and sad at the same time is the people who think he's superhuman can't see the reality of like, let's be honest guys, it was really a mistake to buy Twitter.
Yeah.
Even if you like Twitter, he paid way too much for the dang
He
thing.
already runs like two or three companies.
And I said that from the beginning that you already got like, I don't know, 11, 12, that we know of kids. He probably has a lot more that we don't know of. You got multiple companies and like, I said that, I said he can't do everything. It's just, there's only so much time you have in the day, right? You know, think about this for you guys like, you know, watching. Imagine you have one job now. Imagine you have like 14 jobs.
And 10 kids.
Yeah, 14 jobs with 10 kids and everyone knows your name everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You know, so one thing that you definitely should not do is these kind of impulse buys where you're doing it like in the spur of the moment. Someone like a Musk, it's kind of like always a party for him. You know, like you go to the bar, they play your favorite song, and like, oh, that's my favorite song. I love that song. You get up and dance, and then you start drinking, and then you sit back down, you know, and you're having fun with your friends, and you shouldn't drink anymore. Like sometimes you just shouldn't, right? But then they play another of your favorite songs, and you get back up, and and so like some people treat money like that way, right?
Yeah. Then they're super rich. Or even
No. It could be anybody because, you know, you go to Vegas, the casino.
Oh yeah.
They keep feeding you alcohol, and that's a good example of impulse. So, what I'm trying to get you guys to think about is like, and you guys, I'd like to hear stories in the comments of when you have essentially lost control, right? So this impulse buying is awful. Another thing that say like a Mr. Musk does also is I think he does things to impress people. Right, so I'll give you an example. If you guys remember there was a meeting he had, it was from CNBC, it was when he told everyone to F themselves. And basically he was like, I don't need advertisers, right? And then the phrase that Musk said, he's like, you're trying to bribe me with money? Like he tried to make it sound like he doesn't care about money.
He's doing the company not advertising on Twitter.
Right, so he clearly cares about money. He owes a lot of people a lot of money, but if you, so I don't know what you say in Korean. So we say like you push someone's buttons. Do you guys say that in Korean?
발작 버튼.
Oh, it's the same idea. It's the same idea.
발작 like a freaking button.
Freaky?
You're freaking out, you know.
Oh, freak out button.
Yeah.
So when we say push someone's button, it's just like,
Yeah. You say,
or we say trigger someone like a gun trigger.
yeah, you say trigger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like if and it's funny thing with Musk is he has like a long history of like women, like all kinds of different women, right? I'm sure he's had some very passionate fights with all kinds of women, because people will know how to push his button. Okay, that's in the negative way, but sometimes people know how to push your button and like, I don't know if it's positive is the right word, but like, they know how to get you to spend stuff for them, right? Like, oh, you're gonna buy me a car. And I mentioned the women thing because, and it could be opposite. It could be, you could be a woman and then the guy pushes your buttons, but the basic idea is that if people figure out that you run your life on emotion, they can easily manipulate you and get you to spend money on things that you have. Yeah, definitely not. And like these kind of things, it's interesting seeing in so public. This whole thing with the Brazil thing, guys. So, yeah, I'll explain the aging for those of you that don't know. So basically, Twitter right now is banned in Brazil. That's the first country. I'm thinking UK or France might be next, right? From a business standpoint, all he had to do was Brazil wanted a legal representative in Brazil. Like I guess they had no staff there or something to negotiate or whatever. And then Musk, they gave him 24 hours and he just wouldn't do it. And part of like for Musk's situation, he is the same with the FU, all the advertisers, or you're trying to bribe me with money, I'm rich. Yeah, so it's the same of like, oh no, I'm not going to work with anyone. It's my way, or we say the highway, like my way or no way, right? Like these kind of emotional decisions is not a really good person to be around.
That's your CEO.
Of more than one company.
Yeah.
It's funny because I like reading through comments too. That gives me a lot of things I like to respond with you guys about. Someone was saying, well, I can see that Musk is probably a bad person to work with, but the argument they said, but doesn't his companies, don't they add good to the world? Right, that's the argument that someone would make, right?
Yeah.
So the problem with that kind of thinking is that the issue is I'm thinking of, okay, we have to separate the two, okay? Because just because for example, just because you really like someone's car, doesn't mean that that's good that they suddenly waste a whole bunch of money on Twitter, or suddenly they say, hey everyone, we're going to take money from Tesla and we're going to put it into the company. Like, just because there's one good thing about someone, right, or two good things, wherever you want to say it, doesn't suddenly mean that when they do bad things, it's okay, right? A bad thing is a bad thing. But this is the complexity of people, right? Nothing really is that simple. Another thing you want to be thinking as well, guys, is like when you're talking about money, making decisions, have people around you that will like have your interest, right, first and foremost. A lot of people around you, when you deal with money and business, sometimes they'll just think about only themselves.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. Not necessarily the good of you.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's probably the hardest thing for many people is recognizing when people like sometimes they'll disagree with you, but they actually are caring about you, right? I'll give you an example. Like if Musk said, hey, I'm going to buy Twitter, and it was like way too much money. It was like, $44 billion, which is really like.
Oh yeah, it's a good idea. Just go get it, and just tweet that right now.
Right. Because there could have been other friends that would be like, well, so here's because the thing is, he could have gotten out of the deal. He would have had to pay some sort of fine. But like, pay the fine. Maybe you had to pay $1 billion in fine. But that's way better than losing, 44 on buying said company. It is a crazy thing. The other thing that I was thinking about also is, when you set up a company, it's a similar situation, have people around you that are willing to give you the good advice that you don't want to hear, right? So for example, and we're using the Twitter example is a good one, is like, hey, Mr. Musk, the advertisers are leaving us, right? Maybe you should tone it down a bit.
Then you're fired.
Yeah. Then Musk's like, well, you're fired, right? And what do I mean by tone it down? He tweets out fake news, he says racist things, he picks fights with people, this kind of stuff. And this is just not something you want a CEO to doing, but all these things that we're talking about, I want you guys to be thinking about the mistakes that you make with money, and how can you get better at preventing that. You learn from mistakes. And the thing I think that's a problem for Musk is this: he doesn't learn from mistake. He doubles down. We say double down. What's that?
But even if he makes mistakes, he's still CEO. He got all the powers.
And this is why it's fun watching, because this might be the largest and most crazy meltdown in history.
Possible.
I really think so. We have never seen something like this. It's all so public, right? And the other thing too with Mr. Musk going down, he's going to drag a lot of people down with him.
Yeah, Trump this time.
Yeah, maybe Trump. Actually, because I don't know if I told you the details of that lawsuit thing.
Yeah.
Was the lawsuit was really detailed, but one thing that really stood out to me that we're talking about with Musk is that he attracts young college graduates who are men, right? So a bunch of young 20-year-old dudes, and they didn't say this specifically, but it was like, I think there's a lot of people out there that need a father figure for whatever reason, who knows. So then when he attracts all these young people, they don't know what's legal or not, or illegal. They don't know right from wrong, because that's their first job.
Yeah.
Right? And so then Musk gets them to do illegal stuff. Oh yeah, we always do the accounting like this.
They don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah, right. And then when they get old enough to see what's going on, they either quit, or they just keep their mouth shut and try not to do anything more illegal. But a lot of people have actually left Tesla and Twitter the last couple of years, and you guys know this. A lot of people left Twitter. There was actually a situation. There was a CFO. I want to say it's Tesla. I'm pretty sure it's Tesla, but you guys correct me if I'm wrong. In 2018, they hired some sort of CFO. He was only at Tesla for like a month, and then he quit. Or something like that. Yeah. Someone asked me about that, and I don't have the inside story of that. I have no idea, right? You can ask that particular person, but the reason why I bring that up is for some people, if they're pressured into doing stuff with money, there's another thing, a good lesson. There's so many lessons to learn with this Musk stuff. Guys, when you first get a job, or let's say you're experienced, and even though they're going to give you a bonus, if someone's pressuring you to do something illegal, it's never worth it.
Yeah, never.
It's never worth it. Somebody always finds out. These are publicly traded companies, right? And I understand, if you work on Wall Street. Wall Street's a good example. For example, talking about money, emotions, or whatever. They use a lot of disappearing text over there. Right.
That's the.
What's that?
What's the name of the app?
Oh, well, you can use Telegram, or or you can use WhatsApp. I don't know if WhatsApp has that function or whatever, but they're supposed to use company email, but they're using, and they're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. So we don't know exactly what they're saying to each other. The issue with that there is that's a money situation and sort of peer pressure, right? You got a high-paying job, everyone's doing it, they're all making tons of money. The way that they think is, we'll just pay the fine, and business as usual. Some people go to prison for this kind of stuff, right?
They make networks in the prison.
Oh yeah.
In Korea, it's kind of popular when you go, certain prison.
So the white collar prison.
Yeah, they make network there.
We call it the resort, right? It's don't listen to Yates. She's setting a bad example for you guys. No, but that stuff is real though. The problem though, oftentimes, now it all depends on the situation, but oftentimes the person at the very top faces no penalty, and they get all the under people. They blame all we say fall guy or fall person. Whether or not that happens in Musk's situation, I don't know. I mean, he's the center of everything, and I think the issue with
maybe he go to Mars. Yes, SpaceX. Let's go to another.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that. Just go to Mars, Mr. Musk. It'll solve all of our problems. It's funny. Regardless of what happens to Mr. Musk, I find it entertaining, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah.
I find it sad and entertaining at the same time. And then, so before when he bought the Twitter stuff, it's kind of funny. This guy is losing all this money, haha. The problem though, we're starting to cross the line towards dangerous. If you guys saw my channel, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? The UK stuff really upset me. You're perfectly frank. I saw articles that was saying like, there's riots in the streets, and I didn't, because we're in Korea, and I mostly look at U.S. news, but then when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's in the UK, but then it was like article after article after article, and then I saw a map, and it's like all over the country.
Yeah.
People are like throwing stuff at each other, and like yeah, it's really bad. And then it turned out like Musk is spreading false information about things like that, and then egging people on to fight.
Do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position because, and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
He keeps going more and more crazy, and he's setting, like these days, if you look at it, you don't look at it, but I look at it, it's like every 20 minutes he's tweeting something. It's really a lot. The Wall Street Journal did a report. It's like 61 tweets a day. A day.
Day?
Yeah, I know. What do you have?
What is he doing?
I know, that's what everyone said. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So okay, back in 2019, it was like 9 a day. So he did a lot back then. So it's like once an hour during working hours, or you could say he works 8 hours and once an hour at night or whatever. Yeah, 61 a day is a lot because you're reading all the time. Yeah, I call him Mr. Twitter Fingers now. So, anyway, guys, I just want to have this conversation with you, and I like to have these talks with the AD. And the thing is with Mr. Musk, this is kind of the last thought I want to mention, is that if you had $250 billion to your name, and we don't know actually how much money he's got. The reason why I say that is because his money is stock, and they use that stock to get loans. It's a lot of it's paper money, but let's just say you had $1 billion, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but he's got like well beyond that. I mean, when you got that much, you should just be laying on a beach, enjoying your life, right? Yes, you can manage your companies, but don't put yourself in like legal problems, violent problems.
Too late, I guess.
There's just too many people around him that always said you can do whatever you want.
Too late.
Now, to be fair to Mr. Musk, though, if you've ever seen his bodyguards, those guys look mean. They look mean. So I don't think you can go up and punch Mr. Musk. I don't think that would work. The bodyguards, those guys are mean. But if you piss off like a Putin kind of person, or like the prince over in Saudi, I think those guys have more bodyguards and are more mean. so that's a warning. Just be careful. Right? You may think you're the top of the world, but there's always someone out there who may have more bodyguards than you. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you next video. So bye.